And then we have to distribute that work to our white colleagues. So, it shouldn't be our need to drive racial justice and equity at the Department of Energy. It's not on this black group. Everyone has to own that mandated mission. It is on all of us. So that is how I approach it from a personal level. And I demand that my team rest. I don't need to get an email at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night unless it was just convenient for you. We need to show that and create boundaries because, yes, black women have carried this country, but we have, in order to really tackle white supremacy and tackle the violence against black women, we have to do it from within as well. So that's cool.
I just want to go back and acknowledge Latricia's conversation about five boys. I've had my own, struggle with that. I'm a new mother. And so this is extremely personal for me. Everyone might know Beyonce's song, I Was Here. That's a really powerful song. And I look at it as me being present, me being here in this room, me being out, my personal life, talking about these issues. That is how I uplift black women. That is how I bring folks into this conversation. It's cool to care about environmental justice. And a lot of folks who might be new to the space or might be interested in learning more, they need to see folks like us up here. They need to see folks like all of you interested in having these conversations. And so, I stand on the shoulders of the women who came before me, and I'm standing here holding space for those who are going to come after, like my daughter and other children and other folks who are not able to advocate for themselves. So you don't have to be an expert in environmental justice or environmentalist. Simply being aware, being interested, wanting to share the information that you hear on this panel today. That is how you uplift black people, and that is how you continue the conversation, and how we can always continue talking about it and bringing folks in with us.
The world is in your hands with black women, okay? Period. That's it. Ooh, I had to, while I had to quote Director Baker. Ooh, that last quote. Either you think that I'm superhuman or subhuman. Ooh, I had to say that. That got me in my feelings because that is so powerful. And we talk about revolutionary rest. And I think that's the outcome for today. Yeah, we got victories, but we deserve rest though. Period. All the we bad. We got solutions for days, but it should not always exist and be the responsibility of black women alone. We all have to collectively fix this mess that we didn't create it. We didn't create this as black women, as black people, right? But I had to uplift that. So we're coming to the end of this panel. Can you believe that house, right? But before, because we do want to leave time, because we do want to engage in just a wee bit of a Q&A and engagement with the attendees. But we always, this is the Black Millennials in Flint event, we always have to leave on a good note of empowerment. So last word from each of the panelists, what would be your final word or call to action to wrap up this conversation? And there was some nuggets that you all shared earlier with that final word. Just so we can walk out of here feeling uplifted today. And we'll start with Elise.
Okay, my final word is to celebrate yourself. To celebrate yourself. We're here at Essence Festival celebrating the accomplishment of great black women, and I'm looking at an audience of great black women. So give yourself a round of applause. Celebrate yourself. I think about the fact that we do continue to fight fights and fight fights and fight fights, and there's milestone after milestone to achieve. And there's very few opportunities for us to celebrate what we have done. So celebrate yourself. That is my call to action for all of you all.
your social networks and share. Don't let this just sit in this room, but just about everybody has phones. You have young people that know how to work your phones. We do not. Get online and share what you're hearing, and then follow up and continue the conversation. I would be remiss if I did not say go on the book. One of the things that I intentionally did in this book was every single chapter has a list of action items. So there's no reason that we're not acting. We have to do something. And then last but not least, please go see these ladies at the Descendants Project table. Find out what they need to do here and how you can follow up and do something that is active, that is impacting the space that we are in right now today.
Love it. So, everybody found themselves in this space for a reason. I think each of us can acknowledge that we are here in a very unique moment in history. I mean, it is unprecedented. I know we hear that a lot. I came from DC where there was smoke that made the air so thick we couldn't see the Capitol a couple days ago. We got people falling out because of heat exhaustion, right? And folks that can't turn on their AC because of this record heat. People that, again, are on fixed incomes and can't afford to make changes because of climate. So we're in an extraordinary moment in terms of climate change. We're in an extraordinary moment in terms of federal investments that are being made to combat the climate crisis. But each of you is born into this movement. And with that comes an obligation, comes a duty. Now, you don't have to be on the stage. You don't have to do federal work. You don't have to lead an organization, but you have a role. Whether it is educating someone or becoming a part of your community, becoming active, whatever it is, you were here during this moment. Your little star came into the earth during this extraordinary moment in our history. We need a revolution. We need a revolution in terms of how we think about things. We need a revolution in terms of how business has been done. Business as usual got us here. So each of you is a foot soldier in that broader revolution. So with that, I will leave with one final word, which is vote.
And I'd also say, assuming all the folks here are here because you care about advancing environmental justice, just keep doing what you're doing. Share your stories. Share the stories of people you know who are experiencing environmental racism. Let your leaders hear these stories. Let the leaders hear your voices. Those are the folks who are making the decisions for you. Don't let other people make the decisions for you without them knowing how you feel. And so I'll just leave everyone with that. I really appreciate having the opportunity to be here and talk to you all.
Right, so I think we have time for maybe one. I might be pushing it to. Actually, a little bit. We have time for a question from the audience. We do have a question. If you would just come forward so we can get your mic. Or Deanna, can you pass this